Hello, my name is Crystal Stanfield. I am Vice President of Global Talent Acquisition at SIBO Global Markets. I've been in the recruiting space for 25 years, so I'm showing my age here. And I'm happy to be here.
Thank you so much for joining me today. We're going to jump right in.
Okay.
With digital natives now the majority of the workforce, and soon they will make up 75%. From a recruiting perspective, how is that shifting the way you evaluate candidates? And are you seeing any new risks emerge now that more of our lives are playing out online?
Yeah, definitely seeing a lot more imposters. So people who are leveraging AI, as we all are leveraging AI in this sort of new landscape, but they're leveraging it to sort of inflate experience in some cases, use it in interviews where they can get through some of the interview questions that were tried and true for many years. They have the easy answer at their fingertips from their phone while in an interview, and leveraging AI to sort of, I don't want to say spam, but sort of apply across many, many jobs. And in some cases, we are seeing the same resume, same person, but different names, and things like that. So I think definitely seeing more risks with the emergence of AI. Or, and also I think on a positive note, sort of the digital landscape for people has allowed us to really own our own brand too, in a way that maybe we didn't see in the 90s. And exactly, I'm again showing my age, but in the 90s, you didn't have that. It was really very focused on face-to-face interactions. But in this new digital sort of world that we live in, and probably the last, I want to say 10 years, there has been more of a focus on your public persona and sort of owning your brand. And that is, a differentiator when you're out there searching for a new role.
Absolutely. You brought up some great points and that we could talk about throughout this video and
Mhm.
go on for a time, but I do want to be respectful of your time.
Yeah.
So perhaps we need a follow-up to talk more about personal branding, how that landscape has been a bit more leveled between the job seeker and the employer, even because we're doing a lot of the same things, just from different lenses. So I
Yeah.
appreciate you bringing that point up. All right. So, do you and your organization currently evaluate candidates for culture ads or culture risks? And if so, how are you doing this? And then where do you think there are blind spots?
Yeah, we do. We had this project, and many people have heard of competency-based approaches to interviewing. And we, as an HR function, put together what we call success behaviors. They are behaviors that are competency-based, but more behavioral based, if that makes sense, that indicate somebody's success within our organization. So when people would say, "Oh, I'm looking for a culture fit," or "They're not a culture fit," I would pause and say, what is a culture fit? Define it. And people really struggled with that question. And when you're looking at it through, an inclusive lens, we all have to be sort of on the same page about what a culture fit is. And so that's where the success behaviors came, into the mix. And really we have one for leadership and several for all associates across the board. And we include that in our interviewing as well as our performance management and in our career development tracks as well. So it's really infused throughout the culture, which is working really well. And then I think there was a second part to your question around something around risks, I
Blind
think.
spots.
Blind spots, that's what it was.
Yes.
Um, no, I don't think that it's creating any blind spots, but I do think we had them prior to doing the success behaviors. Like I mentioned, what is a culture fit? Like, how do you define that? How do you evaluate based on that? That's inclusive, right? And so we feel that the success behaviors have remedied those blind spots and really have been a game changer for us. And weaving them throughout the entire life cycle of our associate experience is really key, because if we're hiring based on it, then we really need to weave that through the rest of the experience to make sure that there's continuity, and that it's not just a HR thing of the week kind of situation.
I love that. That's another excellent answer. Okay. If we gave you the ability to see early signs of workplace misconduct that would not show up on a traditional background screening, meaning before someone is given an offer of employment, what, if any, impact would that have on your talent strategy?
I think depending on how early in the process, you know, would matter. But I think right now in the market as it stands today, there's a lot of volume. And for an organization our size, with our team size, sifting through a very large stack of candidates is very time consuming, and we want to be able to fully review each candidate. So I think it would be a time savings in some regard, and then also I think it would help us get to the best candidates faster, if we sort of had some preemptive, insight into somebody's success behaviors, that would really help us hone in quickly on the right candidates.
So, if you had real data to close
Mhm.
the gap between workplace misconduct and hiring a culture risk, would that excite you?
Yeah, I love data. I really love digging into data, and I think data tells a story.
Absolutely.
So when I think about just how we are today, we look at data to understand, return on our investment, return on resources, understanding the market, understanding where bottlenecks are, things like that. So yeah, I will never say no to more data.
I love it. Thank you so much for sharing your insights. I have learned so much from you. I like your success. I want to keep calling them success factors, but that's not what you called them.
No. Success behaviors. Yeah.
Success behaviors. I love that. Looking forward to continuing to follow your work, learning more from you. And thank you all for joining me.
Thanks so much for having me.
No problem.